Hello everybody, my name is Craig Bennett, and today I am going to answer a question in machine learning, deep learning area. And as far as the question goes, it goes into and I'm thinking that this is what they're asking, can a deep learning program be used on a MacBook Air? And also, can you program a deep learning algorithm with anything other than Python? So as far as things goes, for those of you who don't know what machine learning, deep learning is, just a quick rundown. I will leave a link down below on a previous video I've done on it. And if you want me to cover this stuff in more detail, how to make your own programs and stuff like that, then let me know and I'll see what I can do. I believe this will be the thing to code for in the future. Specifically, this is where your jobs, one, are going to go, and two, this is for anyone's coding. If you want a job, you're going to need to know this. So as far as this goes, Python, deep learning versus machine learning. Machine learning is basically, deep learning is a subsector in machine learning. But since it's a subsector and it's not the entirety, whenever I say machine learning, note that I'm excluding deep learning. But basically all it is it's different ways for a computer to learn about whatever environment that you put it into. So say, for example, if I say I want to know where this is. So basically it will take a look at a map, and let's say if I work at the CIA and was doing programming for CIA or FBI or something like that. It's more so in the CIA. Well, what would end up happening is, instead of where you got field operators that goes out there and takes pictures of some map at some military base or something else, sends it back to our place, and the map doesn't have anything on it besides landmass and a few other things. What the fact of the matter is I can have a machine learning program go through it and categorize, or even go as far as deep learning, but machine learning program go through it and categorize it, and it will learn from other maps or other features I tell it to learn from. And what would end up happening is it will figure out the general proximity of the area. So even if, like, say for example, if I took a aerial photo of a given area, just by the road or a few handful of things, given that there is enough data points on the picture, I can basically tell you exactly where that thing is in the world based on a machine learning program. So instead of the CIA having to hire 20, 50 people, try to figure out all these things, because it probably get dozens of these images a day, if not, a month or whatever. What the fact of the matter is a computer can process it and just spit it out and tell where all this stuff is. Keep in mind, each one of these data analytic people, they get paid within the $50,000 to $80,000 range. So you're basically cut out 20 or so people's jobs and cutting all the way down to maybe 2 individuals' jobs. For anything that the computer can't figure out, it will go to those given people. So with that in mind, that's where machine learning would come in play. That's at least a given example. Now, basically the difference between machine learning and deep learning is, machine learning is you are teaching it by the actual features. So say for example, you want to take pictures of, of dogs. Well, the fact of the matter is you'll take a look at the snout and all these other things, and it will recognize that this is a dog or this is a chair. Kind of like the Silicon Valley not a hot dog application. Well, the fact of the matter is it's the same thing. It's just looking at the shape of the thing, and there you go. Well, as far as deep learning, the difference between that and machine learning is deep learning, the program is teaching itself. See, with machine learning, anything that's excluding deep learning, you're really telling it where all these features are supposed to be, what it should look like, and whatever it may be. Well, with deep learning, you have a guideline, and you say that, like if I had a deep learning program play Mario, the old-fashioned Mario games, the side-scroll Mario games, well, the thing is I'll say if it stays at a given position for, say, 10 seconds, then it is doing something wrong, and it'll move to the next generation. And if the thing gets it, or all these little things that you wouldn't want to happen, well, the fact of the matter is it will it will move on to the next generation, and it will know not to do these things for the next generation. It will learn from previous attempts, and that's basically what a generation means, is an attempt, and then it will learn from that. So it's kind of like the practice, try again until you get it right. That's basically what deep learning is doing. It's just that those restrictions are basically saying, do not do this, and that way it learns to stay away from doing those type of things in the future. So with that one in mind, that's where deep learning is. And deep learning is a black box in a sense into itself. It trains itself. You let it run and do its thing. You obviously take a look at what it sees and how it figures out stuff if you want, but it's a black box into itself. And then when you get into something like the Google's recommendation system, if something goes wrong, it's very difficult to fix, if possible at all. It might not even be possible in some cases. So with that, now that I explained what deep learning and machine learning is, so you don't have to watch that video. Well, the thing is and feel free to check out the video anyways. The thing is the Python question, the answer to that is simply yes, you can program deep learning programs in anything other than Python. Like, say, for example, there is some restrictions on some languages, but unless if you're doing a very particular task, the fact of the matter is you can pick most languages, not all of them, but most languages that you want. Note that for me, I'm not an architect, so I can't tell you the complete restrictions for any given language. That's up to you to do the research. But if you go to work for a given company, unless if you're the architect there, you're not going to be picking a language. So that means that they're already going to have one in place, and you're just going to have to learn and base your research around that. Now, with that one in mind, for me, in my personal opinion, again, I'm not an architect, but my personal opinion on languages, it's 1.5 dozen of another. It's all the same, besides a handful of restrictions here and there. If you're doing from general things, it's all about the same. You can just throw a dart on the board and pick one. Obviously, if the thing has too many restrictions, then you might want to keep that one in mind. But as far as that goes, let's go into the other question. So I don't know the actual answer to this, and I'm not really going to look up the specifications for a MacBook Air. Why? Well, it's because simply the Apple, they use special type of hardware into their systems, and it's very difficult to get a straight answer onto that. Not only that, they limit their own crap, so it's very difficult to figure out what is the actual resources into this. With that in mind also is, even if I want to say no to this or yes to this, both of them could easily be a lie. So see, thing is since deep learning it is a self-taught program, it's the thing when you buy a robotic made to clean your dishes and stuff, that is what it's going to be using. When I have no doubts in my mind with all my abilities to break into systems, being cybersecurity wise, or protect the systems cybersecurity wise. I have no doubts in my mind that a machine learning program can do it far superior than myself or anyone else ever can do. So the thing to keep in mind, this is what's going to be used. But the thing is deep learning requires heavy amount of resources and heavy amount of processing. Now, there's an exception to that. The thing is you can have a MacBook Air. I'm pretty sure it has enough processing power. But if you're giving it hours, say for example, if you're giving it like 100, 200, 300 hours to do its thing, versus 10 minutes, that's where a yes will come in. But if you're only looking for something that you throw in and 10 minutes later, or, a couple hours later, you get some proper response back, the answer is probably no. Today's computers, even on something like mine, it would take normally a full 24 hours. Some laptops and stuff, it can take a lot longer, but if you're given enough time, say 48 hours or something like that, to do its job, then the fact of the matter is the answer should be yes. Again, deep learning, because it's a self-taught thing, it needs to have a large data set to learn off from. The fact of the matter is and basically what I can do is show it a bunch of pictures of like all these maps, and then a bunch of other square or rectangle things, and it will say these other rectangle things are map, and I can say no, and it will figure out on its own why not. Well, the thing is that takes a large data set into itself. So if you're looking for image sorting or something like that, it shouldn't take much as far as the resources goes. But if you're looking for video, if you're looking for games, games should be fine. If you're looking for video, if you're looking for something else that takes a large amount of space already, well, unless if it can sort through 1,000 of these or more, but the fact of the matter is on the device, the fact of the matter is you might want to go with machine learning versus deep learning because of the simplistic stuff of to make it simplistic, unless if you're able to give it the 1,000 videos by looking at YouTube or what it may be. So that's something to note into itself. Now, again, with the processing power, it's, but that's really all up time and whatever. So, that's really up to you on that little bit. I prefer, if I was to run it, I would prefer to use it on a desktop, mostly because, again, even on something like mine, where I got a, I can't remember off the top of my head, but I think it's a 980 graphics card, a GTX 980. Even with that, even with a i7 or whatever I got in there and whatever else, it will take a good 24 hours to 48 hours in most cases. For some task, like making poetry and stuff like that, or books and whatever, it will take days to even weeks. Anyways, as far as that goes, if you got any questions, anything else, feel free to leave that in the comment section. I'll try to answer it as quick as possible. Also, let me know if you want me to cover any more into machine learning and stuff like that. There is a good amount of people who do want this. Then I will take a look into this, because again, I think if you're going to go and code, this is what you got to learn. This is going to be the job killer. And if you're not supporting the job killer, well, the fact of the matter is you won't have a job into this. What's happening in the real world is you have accountants, like accounting firms, and you have deep learning programs that are sitting back and watching the accountants and running its own stuff on the background and seeing if it matches up with the accountant into itself. If it's able to perform at same task as the accountants or better, then you can just replace all the accountants into itself. Just have a human interface system being the person going to the website, paying a whole lot less for the accountant stuff, or they have a person for the big leaks, and basically all they're doing is collecting information and how little money that you got to pay them. That's the thing that you got to note, is you got journalists, you got other things that are unknowingly training these programs, and we as coders have to code for it. Now, is it going to replace all the programs just to stop any freak out? The answer is no, because people plus machines do a lot better job into itself, but a lot of jobs are going to die out from this. It's just the simple fact. And that's just the mentality thing. Until companies see that person plus machine does a lot better job, what the fact of the matter is people are going to have to worry a little. And there is going to be some job loss no matter which way we go. But from this, there's going to be jobs created out of this. So also keep that one in mind.